Hello all my beautiful sisters from those other misters. Today I want to review these. These are the Urban Decay, what are they even called? Afterglow 8-hour powder highlighters. Now there are 3 in the range. These have recently come to Australia. They've been out in the States for quite a while. But we're so slow at getting things. It's very frustrating. Now, like I said, there are 3 in the range. You've got Aura, Fireball, and Sin. I didn't buy Sin. Now, the reason I didn't buy Sin was because when I went into the store and I swatched these, I was like, wow, these don't meet my expectations. They were not what I was expecting. I'd seen a lot of reviews for them and was very, got the hype about them. But when I was doing one of these, I was like, wow, these are boring as fuck. So I didn't buy Sin. And when I left the store, I was like, God damn it, I should have bought Sin. Should have just reviewed all 3. I'm going to regret this. I'm going to fall in love with these and blah, blah, blah. Well, it turns out I did not fall in love with them. And I'm actually having buyer's regret over the 2 that I did buy. Before I get started on this review, I just want to let you know that I am currently wearing Fireball on my cheekbones today. So if this looks like a shade that you're interested in, start watching my cheekbones. Let's just hope and pray it shows up on camera. Now, I won't harp on about the regret because you'll work out why as I go through this review. I'm going to start with Aura, and I want to show you the packaging, but first I've got to give it a little bit of a buff because this packaging attracts fingerprints like nobody's business. Now, the packaging looks really pretty on the outside. I'm trying not to blind you. If I do, very sorry. Packaging looks really pretty on the outside. It looks like a metallic silver, but it's plastic. It's all plastic. Everything here is plastic. So you've got the metallic outside with a little Urban Decay or UD cutout. Inside there is a plastic mesh, and the mesh shows through on the actual palette. Now the reason they did this mesh thing was so you could see through the top of the powders and you'd be able to tell the difference which powder's which when it's sitting in your beauty stash. Now, looking at these 2, I can see a slight difference, but I am under the most intense blinding lights, so you can clearly see the different tones. One is more orange, one is lighter. So I know that the orange one is Fireball, I know the lighter one is Aura. Now, when these are in my beauty drawers, I can't tell the difference. I can't, I have to pick them up and open them to see which one's which. The best way to store these, and it took me a few days to work this out, I'll admit, because sometimes I'm a bit stupid, I store them upside down now because the labels on the back are different colors. Also, the names are printed in big bold lettering, so it's kind of easier to tell what's going on. So basically, back to the packaging, it's very plastic. There's plastic everywhere. All of it is plastic. When you close the compact, it looks quite polished and pretty, and then when you open it, it looks really cheap and tacky. So basically, it's like $42 worth of plastic. The compacts do have a sort of, it's a magnetic closure, but it's very soft. It shouldn't come open on its own. If you dropped it and it hit something, it might pop open, but it's not, I wouldn't think that it would open in your bag. But don't take my word for that, because I'm not being responsible for a broken highlighter in your handbag. Alright, enough about the crappy packaging. Aura is it's kind of like a frosty baby pink. Swatches, looks like it's going to swatch really good, and it actually does. Like, I can't lie about that. It swatches quite pigmented, and on your hand it looks like a frosty baby pink, and you can see it's very subtle, but there's like a brighter pink under there. I want to say it's kind of almost like a cross between fluorescent with a little bit of like a fuchsia pop to it. It's subtle, but it's there, and I feel like this is the kind of thing you have to see in person to really understand the tone that I'm talking about. Now, when you blend it out, it does keep that frostiness, but the brighter pink that's under there, that pops out more. So that it kind of changes the way that the highlight looks. Now, I will say these highlighters are made to be sort of like color shifting, but honestly, Aura, okay, yeah, it's got a little bit of a shift, but it's nothing really exciting. It's pretty, but I'm not like, it's not $42 pretty, if you know what I'm saying. As for Fireball, this is kind of like a peachy orange shade with a pink shift. Now, when you swatch it, I don't know if you guys will be able to see this. So when I look at the powder this way, all I see is like an orangey peach powder. And then as I turn it, I see the pink, and the orange almost completely disappears. So this definitely has those shifting properties that they talk about in the description of these particular highlights. When you blend it out, I feel like you lose all of that peach completely, and you're left with this like it's almost a fuchsia pinky sort of sheen to the skin. There is, as it moves and catches the light, the peach tones are in there, but it's very subtle, so it gives it almost this color morphing feel. I do like Fireball. It is a really, really beautiful highlight. Now, there is something I want to address about Fireball really, really quickly. This is very similar to one of the shades in the Urban Decay Gwen Stefani blush palette, and we're talking about OC. So this is OC here, and this is Fireball. Now, when they're in the pans like this next to each other, they do look different, and they are different. So OC in the pan looks more orange, and that pink shift isn't so apparent. It's kind of like a little hidden surprise. So when you apply it, that's when you discover it. Fireball it's more apparent in the pan. You can see that there is a pink, like shimmery something going on in there. When you swatch these next to each other, which I'm going to do right now, so this is Fireball and this is OC. They look quite similar. Let's see if we can get that to focus. Probably not. But when you swatch them, they do start to look a bit different. So on top we've got Fireball, and on the bottom we've got OC. Now, I don't know what you guys will be able to see with these swatches. I'm just hoping that I can demonstrate to you how these are different, and if it doesn't translate well on camera, then I will swear during the editing process. So Fireball on top, when you swatch it, it's clear that there is way more pink in there, whereas OC still looks very, very peachy. When you blend them out, you can see that Fireball, the pink pops straight away, and OC kind of, it's very subtle. It's much, much, much more subtle than Fireball. Alright, so I'm going to do some swatches of these up close so you can see what's going on. I'll also do some blended out swatches, and I will also compare Fireball up close to OC out of the Gwen Stefani palette. Alright, so I'm going to do single swatches of these highlighters, then I'm going to do blended swatches. I'm going to layer over the blended swatches, and after I've done both Fireball and Aura, I will do a comparison between the Urban Decay Gwen Stefani OC shade and Fireball in the same fashion. So first up we've got Aura, so that's a single swatch. Then we have Aura blended out on the skin. There we go. Try and let that focus, get some light reflection in there, and now I will layer it. And this is Fireball, and now we have Fireball blended out. And a double layer. Okay, so over here we have the Urban Decay Fireball swatches. I'm now going to swatch OC from the Gwen Stefani palette. So there is a single finger swatch. And here is a blended swatch. And a layer blended swatch. So you can see they are different, very different. Fireball is clearly more pink, whereas OC really has that sort of colour shifting thing going on where it goes from peach to pink. And if you're wondering what that is, I burnt myself on the damn oven. Alright, final things about these highlighters. They are expensive. In Australia they are $42. They are not metallic highlighters. They would never ever be metallic highlighters. You can apply these wet to make them more intense, but they will still never be metallic highlighters. What they are subtle highlighters. You can build them up again, like wet or dry, to make them more intense. If you try to build them dry, they don't ever become powdery, which is great. I really, really love that. But always, 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 these will be a subtle highlight. The fact that they're called Afterglow is like, that's a smoking gun right there. They are glowy, they are not reflective like, say, a Becca highlighter would be. Another awesome thing about these highlighters, even if you like layer and layer for more color intensity, they don't show up shitty skin texture. So if you've got textural issues on your skin, these don't emphasize it. It doesn't make it look worse. They just offer a glow to the skin, so that is really nice. So if you like a subtle highlight and you've got money to burn, $42 doesn't faze you, go for it. Now, I would say $42 doesn't faze me either. I've spent a hell of a lot more than that on highlighters. I brought a Bobbi Brown one that was nearly $100. But these are so tame, it's almost boring, to be perfectly honest. I just feel like they could have done awesome things with this, or these, and they didn't. Alright, I'm going to wrap this up. Personally, I don't think these are worth $42. They're really subtle. I don't feel like they're really exciting. Okay, yeah, they have this like color shift thing that's going on, but the color shifting is insanely subtle. Even me with a keen eye, I don't look at it and go, oh wow, that highlighter's doing beautiful things with the light. I look at it and I'm like, gotta look really closely to maybe see the color shift. I don't feel like these are really that impressive, and I do have buyer's regret with these. So if you got the money to burn, you're a highlighter junkie, you like a subtle pink highlight, both of these they're nice. They are nice. I don't feel like they're really worth their price tag. These were hyped like nobody's business, and for me they just don't meet my expectations. You know, you watch people film videos about them and they're like, oh my god, oh my god, and when you get it and you're not like, oh my god, it's kind of like, what the fuck, I just spent like 84 bucks on these guys, and they're just like, oh yeah, that's pretty. Alright guys, so that's it for the Urban Decay Afterglow 8-hour powder highlights in Fireball and Aura. If you've tried either of these dudes or you've tried Sin, let me know your thoughts. If you haven't tried them, let me know, like, you know, are you going to buy them? Do you want to buy them? Do you not care for them? Let me know your thoughts. You know, different opinions make the world go round. There will be a related blog post linked down in the description box, so you can check out up close swatches if you feel like it. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and until next time, thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.